All right, we want to talk to our investigative reporter, Nate Morabito, because if you are considering buying a brand new house, and we are in the season of buying and selling homes, spring and summer, but if you buy a house in a new neighborhood or a neighborhood under construction, perhaps, you're going to want to watch this investigation tonight because he's going to reveal how homeowners in multiple neighborhoods across the Charlotte area have been living next to unfinished or unsafe construction, from my understanding, right, Nate? And really for about a year, despite paying HOA dues.
Yeah.
So that if I lived in one of those neighborhoods, that would not be really really good news for me. How'd you discover this?
Well, you'd
first
be
of all?
unhappy about that for sure. I mean,
Totally.
I had somebody reach out to me for several months. We've been talking about this situation. Just really frustrated about the fact that you buy a brand new home, you move in, you pay an initial HOA fee, and then the rest of the homes in the neighborhood, several of them at least, I mean, you're looking out your front porch at a bunch of homes that have no siding. There's roofs that are being held up by like a 2x4 and I mean roof, like an overhang of a porch. There's a toilet sitting in a garage that's open all the time. I mean, it's just like stuff that you don't expect when you're buying a home in a new neighborhood. And my first home we bought was in a new neighborhood. It was a new home. This is many years ago, and I never thought that I should be extra cautious when I do something like this. But the truth is, what we found in our reporting over several months is that unlike buying a home in an existing neighborhood, if you are buying a home in a neighborhood that's under construction, you absolutely have to do more work. Now, most of the time it's going to be fine, right?
Right.
There isn't an issue. But an attorney told us there is a risk and you must essentially acknowledge that risk and, as he says, kick the tires a bit more. We'll hear from him in a minute, but I do want to just point out, in this case, our story's going to air tonight at 6 on WCNC. A couple companies that are connected built or started building a bunch of homes, and from what we've been told by government sources, they kind of came into some financial trouble, some financial mismanagement, and had to stop. Our investigations found these companies have also owed property taxes in Iredell County, and they have unfinished homes in Rowan County and Iredell County and multiple places in those counties as well. And there's some lawsuits against these companies as well. The companies are Helmsman Homes and Nest Homes. Lawsuits from contractors who say combined they're owed something like $1.7 million. They did the work, they didn't get their money. So the most frustrating thing for these homeowners is that they were kind of blindsided by this. They were never under the assumption that this business may essentially fold. And then when it did, they really had no recourse. And that's why this attorney, James Galvin, he's here in Charlotte, he specializes in real estate, says new home buyers have to consider doing extra work. Let's take a listen.
Ask the seller, I need to see the finances. The other thing to ask for is, again, people are not going to advertise whether there's a lot of rancor in their neighborhood. There already may be many homeowners in disputes with the association and the developer, and you're not getting that advertised. So what I recommend owners to do is to, from the person that's selling you the house, say, I need to see the HOA meeting minutes the last 12 months. And if the meeting minutes say, hey, every month there's 5 homeowners here complaining about landscaping services not happening, no money, to do this, or it could be the association or the developers being significantly authoritarian and controlling over things. The minutes can tell you if there are problems. So getting your hands on the minutes, getting your hands on the budgets and the profit and loss statements just means the financials, like how much money does this HOA have in the bank. You can hire people that know about HOAs, lawyers or management company, to say, hey, it's worth, you pay a few $100s for an inspector, pay a few $100s for an inspection of this company that you're going to be a member of. Because that's, again, people don't legally necessarily fully understand. Like you're buying into an HOA, you're becoming a member of a nonprofit corporation.
And so, Nate, what was the most surprising thing in doing this story for you?
Well, I mean, I thought at first this was a story about a couple of companies that folded and left homeowners with little recourse, which
Right.
is part of the story. But the most surprising thing is that this doesn't happen infrequently. It's not uncommon.
Oh.
It's common enough that you need to know, especially with an uncertain economy, the likelihood for this kind of thing increases, according to Galvin, the attorney. And so the biggest surprise to me was that, as you heard from him, people need to be aware of this, and they need to put extra work in. They need to ask the seller, can you give me this information? And I didn't realize that when a developer's building a community, if they haven't finished all the homes, the neighbors don't have the HOA yet. The developer essentially has the HOA, and they're supposed to be meeting, they're supposed to have an HOA board,
Yep.
and they're supposed to have minutes. And those minutes can be revealing. And I think that's the message. If you can get that information, you should try and do that before you buy a house in a new neighborhood. No one's saying don't buy a house in a new neighborhood. They're
Right.
just saying you got to put extra work in just to protect yourself. That's what's key.
And that information, they should be forthcoming, that developer or what have you. It's a new neighborhood.
Well, HOAs are nonprofits, like you heard them too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there is a certain, in North Carolina, you have to hand over some records in that.
right.
And also, if they're a company, maybe it's a publicly traded company, maybe you'll feel more comfortable buying a home from a developer that's owned by a company that's publicly traded, because you can get some more insights. But I'm sure there are plenty that aren't publicly traded that do great work too and complete the homes as expected. You just got to be prepared for that. That's the real critical part.
Really, having covered a number of HOA stories for Where's the Money here at WCNC Charlotte. Oh,
You were the HOA reporter there
for a while,
6
yeah,
months,
that
I
was
feel
kind of
like.
my beat. And it is, I just feel for the pain that homeowners go through. You trust that your HOA is going to take care of you. Not always the case. And you got to do your due diligence. All right, story airs again when?
It airs tonight at 6, and we interviewed this guy. He's a veteran Marine, and he's just in another community in Statesville. You feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
This is not what he expected his retirement would be, and you're just going to want to hear from him, because I think anybody could really understand the position he and other people are in because of this.
Oh, yeah. Not cool. Not cool. All right. Well, thank you, Nate, for coming in and previewing your story for tonight on WCNC Charlotte, which will be here on Live Impact News as well on WCNC Plus. We thank you for coming in.